wakapiga hii matako ya bunduki. Sasa nililala hivi ndio wakakamata, sasa wakanikamata, mwaka nikamata huku na mwingine huku, ndio wakanikamata kwa kingu, mwaka akatosha mangu akanikamata.
Africa Humanitarian Action, AHA, under the auspices of the Ugandan government and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, provide healthcare services in the settlements of Rwamwanja and inKyaka. AHA also partners with the Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration, BPRM, to provide essential services on sexual and gender-based violence prevention and mitigation.
This II Refugee Settlement, we are hosting refugees of various nationalities, the majority of whom are Congolese, who number over 85%. Then we have Rwandans, we have Somalis, we have Burundians, we have Ethiopians, and Kenyans.
In 2012, when we got an influx through Kisoro, government decided to reopen this settlement. This settlement is covering 41.9 square miles. We have 57,871 refugees in Rwamwanja. By the time we started receiving refugees, we realized that over 60% of the population were receiving were children and the youth. They were also followed by women, then men were very few. But right from the onset, we had very huge challenges, very huge gaps in all sectors. Partners came in for assessments and the interventions were made immediately.
Kasema munitaka muniue kwa juu munaua bwana yangu na mtoto yangu. Nilimaliza wiki yote niko nalalana na ule bwana mmoja.
We experience that when families come, they kind of have different perceptions, and because of the trauma, they end up having the continued levels of domestic violence. So AHA has worked in partnership with UNHCR, OPM, or the Office of the Prime Minister, in trying to curb this from the onset of the household.
Sexual and gender-based violence, SGBV, is an umbrella term which includes all harmful acts affecting men and women, in which the female is usually the victim. SGBV is determined by gender differences, that is, the unequal power relationship between men and women. Men and boys can also be victims of SGBV. However, as a result of their subordinate socio-economic status in society, women are an easier target of SGBV, and they suffer heavier sexual and reproductive health consequences from such abuse.
Alikamata fimbo tu akanipiga tu mguu ikavunjika siku moja. Nini akanivunja kushingo, ndio wajirani wakakuya wakanimutosha.
The main underlying factor to the prevailing levels of SGBV is associated to the conflict situation that the refugees had to undergo in their country of origin. The protracted conflict situation in the country of origin had also its negative manifestation in the refugee context. These are associated to psychosocial, post-traumatic stress disorder, political, the breakdown of law and order and cultural norms, social, customs, traditions and cultures, and economic, the loss of livelihood and survival mechanisms. This post-conflict scenario in the settlement makes women and girls more vulnerable to instances of SGBV because of the struggle over limited resources, the inadequate access to legal services, the breakdown of traditional norms, a sense of hopelessness and lost dignity, the exposure to alcohol and drugs, limited space and social amenities, the uncertainty to return to normal days, and diminished coping mechanisms. These are the elements of gaps and inadequacies prevailing that the SGBV Prevention and Mitigation Project addresses.
Alikamata panga kusema inipiga kepiga hivi mgongo. Nikianguka chini, nilikuwa na mimba. Wakati nilianguka chini, voga ikemshika, jua ameona mimi naanguka chini, akawazia ati nimekufa, akawazia watamufunga. Jua akeleta kamba, akasema ati mimi nilikuwa nimejitia kamba kwa shingo juu nijiue.
The SGBV Prevention and Mitigation Project started in June 2013. The first phase ended in April 2014. Quite a number of cases were registered and handled at our offices with the help of our psychosocial counselors, the legal officers, and the GBV mobilizers who have helped in creating more awareness with our community structures about GBV.
There is a synergy between the SGBV project and the health and nutrition project that AHA is implementing in both these settlements.
What happens is when they are brought to the health center, they are assessed right from the outpatient department, usually by the clinicians who are on duty, and thereafter the assessment, the patients are taken to a private place where they're examined and they are counseled. The examination includes some tests which will guide the course of management. The reason for this is because we want to do everything in a single confined unit because of the issues of privacy that are very important in these kind of scenarios.
Niliua kama nina gonjwa sirimu nikifika hapa Uganda. Kwa juu niligonjwa tena ule bale bapili balinibebesha mimba, ninafika hapa kunibebesha mimba. Nilifika hapa niko na mimba tena ya mtoto wa pili ya miezi 4.
The kinds of patients that we have seen as a result of the physical violence here are patients who come in with cut wounds, who come in have been beaten and they are unconscious, patients who come in and are bleeding because of stab wounds, because of physical assault from the husbands usually. And the patients, other kind of patients that we see are those of sexual violence. These ones usually come in presenting with severe lower abdominal pain. They come in with bleeding, which is usually profuse. Sometimes it's not very profuse. Some of these victims have dealt with these problems for years and they only come out after we have talked to them, we have sensitized them about the need for them to come out so that we can help them to address these issues.
The local government, which hosts refugees, has also been instrumental, especially the probation office, the judiciary, the magistrates themselves who come down here to handle cases and carry out the mobile court sessions.
In order to enhance community capacity for prevention of SGBV, a number of trainings have been conducted, that is, sensitization of field workers, training of trainers of social workers, training of community leaders like religious leaders, refugee welfare committees, youth leaders, and law enforcement organs in management of SGBV.
As we are conducting activities of securing life and property settlement, some organizations came in to support for some time in some areas here and there. For example, there are some organizations which are fighting SGBV in the settlement. We have African Humanitarian Action. They opted to work with us and always work with them closely. At first, they trained our officers to get a clear image of what SGBV is. All officers were trained in two batches, and most of them, they have that knowledge, how they can handle, how they can counsel.
In a bid to strengthen the security of the survivors who need immediate protection, in addition to the protection houses already in place, the SGBV project has built 2 more in the settlements of Rwamwanja and inKyaka II.
In the past year, we have sensitized quite a number of teachers. At least 90% of school teachers have been sensitized on prevention and mitigation of SGBV in their schools and communities.
Our girls are some of the people that benefited across the settlement, and we are seeing the reality because our girls, under the help of their teachers, have been in a position to move home to home, assisting the vulnerable people in the community, some PSNs, like building for them racks, washing for them clothes. Even they go ahead to make some intervention like mudding their houses, among others. So the boys have also seen that girls are also essential in the home. Instead of saying that this one is for the girls, the other one is for the boys, they are coming out with a joint effort in doing most of the home-based and school-based activities, and this is really helping us.
In the schools, we have supported girl child education by providing scholastic materials which included books, pens, pencils, bags, so that they can be able to retain in school and continue their education with ease.
The sanitary kits have helped us to stay in school, because at times you may find yourself not having like jelly. You have to escape, but for that case, it has helped us not to escape, then stay in school.
It has been realized and justified that quite a number of girls drop out of school because they lack sanitary materials to support them during the time of the month. So we are happy to say that quite a number of students have been retained in schools compared to last year's and this year's differences on girl retention. There's quite a number of improvement because of the provision.
First time when we received the sanitary kits, it wasn't our expectation to get them because we found in knickers. As a girl, I had a passion of buying knickers, but it was like it came like a rain from God. So they bought for me 3 knickers, 2 shavers, body lotion. I just said, glory be to the Lord.
A youth resource center has been established in Rwamwanja Refugee Settlement. This center is managed by the youth. It has a library with assorted books, entertainment, and the youth also use it for rehearsals for future performances on festivals and SGBV campaigns. Seminars and trainings are also held at this facility.
On my honor, I promise that I will do my best to do my duties to God and my country, to help other people at all the times.
Scout groups consisting of boys and girls have been established and strengthened through recruitment and training. These have increased the level of character development and responsibility, knowledge and understanding on the value of peace building to reduce violence in homes, schools, and the community. Also, in order to enhance school enrollment for girls, the project initiated a back-to-school campaign through the Scouts, which has resulted in the return of over 210 girls to school between the months of June and September 2015 alone.
yigeze no kunyirukana mara nk'iminsi 3 yose naba mu rugo ambwa ngo ntabwo ndi umwana wiwe ndeke kumubera mu rugo ngo nzasange papa we yaragiye kandi papa naramubuze sinzaba mama nawe ntawe kungira ngo afate neza amfata nabi kuko amusize mu mutima mubi nabwo nagacinde nk'umwana wiwe ndamusaba umwenda ntabwo yawe imyenda yose nambaraga niyo bangabiye nta mwenda n'umwe yayigeza ngubire ubwo nagiye ku ishuri maze kunkuramo nicara mu rugo madame aza kundeba n'abasikawutu bambwira ngo bazamfasha asubire mu ishuri ndaza bambaye uniform n'ibitabo n'amabike ndiga ndinze nkora ibizami bari kumfasha.
Lakini sijui biko wananifundisha kusuka nywele ngo tujitoshe mu masikini. Tulianza siku ya 5 na jana tutaenda kusoma.
When we look at domestic violence in this settlement, we believe that most of these things come as a result of a lady or a woman not being economically empowered and is always relying on the husband for everything. So we strongly believe that when this woman is economically empowered, she may be able to assist herself and even help the children that she has at home. So this project has really helped a lot to bring on board women survivors, and we have trained most of them in IGA selections, that is enterprise selections, and these women have been trained 100%. As we have been seeing, most of them are into